Ankur, you are not audible. Maybe like you are on mute.
Absolutely correct. Yes. Sorry.
Could you please come again to that slide and start?
Yeah. Okay, so sorry, I was speaking on mute. So today's agenda is we will look at how to install connectivity agent. What is file adapter? We will work with another adapter called file adapter. We will look at how to pull files from our local directory, how to write files, how to create schedule integrations, what is the ICAL expression, and how to maintain last run date and time in the schedule integration. Yesterday, we have covered few other use cases of the FTP adapter, like how to encrypt and decrypt file via the FTP adapter, how to use the stage file action in order to read the file, and how to download the file on the staging via the FTP adapter. And I have explained about connectivity agent, what connectivity agent is, why it is required, what is the architecture of connectivity agent, how it works in the real time, how to install connect. So what is HA in a connectivity agent, what is agent group, and then we have downloaded the connectivity agent, wherein I have explained each and every file of the connectivity agent and the folders and what are the prerequisites to install connectivity agent, and then we have created the agent group. So today we will look at how to install the connectivity agent on the local machine. So guys, if you have any questions from the last session, you can please ask. Anyone, any? No question, then I will move forward. Yesterday, we have created one agent group, and the name of the agent group we kept as the agent group, and the identifier of this agent group, you can look at that by clicking on this edit button. Guys, if you are not, please go on mute. Make post. Amrin, I don't know who is it. Can you please mute yourself if you're not speaking? Yeah, okay, thank you. So this is the name of the agent group, and this is the identifier. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to install the connectivity agent on my local machine. So for this, what I have done is, let me just reshare my screen. Okay, so here we have downloaded the agent and I have kept this on my local machine. So let me just extract this. So here I have extract the zip file, and if I open that, you will see the configuration file which I have explained yesterday. So let me just open this file. Open with edit++. Okay, and now let me just show you this file to you. So this is the file, right? And here what I need to do, I need to put the OIC URL here. Let me just format font for fonts. Okay, so here in the OIC URL, I need to take the OIC URL. Let me just take that, copy that URL from here, and I am keeping that here. And make sure you will put the 443 as a port, and the 443 is the secure port, and the port always will be 443. Here you need to put the what? The agent group identifier name. So that's about this file. Let me say fine. So my file is saved. So now I have just updated these two property, OIC URL and then agent group identifier. Now I am ready to install connectivity agent. Yesterday I have mentioned that in order to install the connectivity agent, you must have the JDK installed on your machine. So let me just open this terminal window. Okay, so this is my terminal. I hope you can see that. So if you see that, I am on this users Anko downloads agent OIC connectivity agent installer, where I have kept the file. No problem. So here on this directory, I have the jar file also. Now, first command, you should set the Java home like this, Java underscore home, and you should give the Java home here. Let's suppose it's in user. I don't know what is the directory, but yes, whatever directory is there, you should give the directory. And then I'll Control C and then make sure you will export the path like this, Java home /bin and then path. Once you will set this Java home and then path, make sure you will put a command called Java version. When you put the Java version, make sure Java path is set and it will show you the version of your Java. And now my version of Java is 1.8, which means my JDK has been, my path is set. As a next step, what should I do? I need to run the installer. So it's very simple command. You need to put a Java space -jar and then connectivity agent.jar. Where I am, let me just see. Okay, it might be possible. Yeah, fine. CD, you see. So I am on Mac, so a Mac command works as Linux commands. So here you see installer profile.cfg, where I have changed the values like the OIC URL and agent home. Sorry, agent group identifier. Now this is the jar which will be used to install the connectivity agent. So what you need to do, you need to put Java space jar and then connectivity agent.jar and simply hit this command. When you hit this command, it will ask you to enter your OIC username, the OIC username. So let me just take that OIC username. Just hold on, please. Yeah. Okay, so here I will put the OIC username. This is the OIC username, and then I have to enter the associated password of this user. So let me just enter this password here too. Okay, and then Control V. I have entered the password here and then simply click enter. So once you will enter the username and then password here, few checks will happen and you see making call to check OIC version, making call to check agent group availability, and finally you will receive this message then with agent installation and configuration, starting agent for message processing. Once your agent installation will be completed, you will get that message, and once your agent is started, you will get this message like agent is started successfully, now available for new messages. Now let's go to the OIC screen. If I here you see agent group is 0. If I refresh this screen, it will show you the count. Count has been increased from 0 to 1, which means the agent has been installed. The connectivity agent has been associated with your agent group now. If you expand it, okay, so if you view this information, not this one, sorry, agents. If you click on this action menu and click on agents, you can see your agent group host machine. Similarly, if you want to install your connectivity agent in the HA mode, you will have the another machine. You will provide the same OIC URL, right? And you will provide the same agent group identifier and install it. Then the agent count will increase from 1 to 2. This is how you can install connectivity agent in high availability mode. Now, how to check that your connectivity agent is up or down? So in order to monitor your agent, you have to go to this monitoring, integrations, and then agents. Once you will go to the agents, it will show you that agent group and then status is available. Available green dot means your agent is up. Now, if you expand it, it will show you the machine where you have installed the agent. Now, let me just go to this, sorry, not here. Yeah. Now, if you go to the agent home and you go to the logs directory, so here you can see different logs file, the agent diagnostic 0.log. If I open this file, so here you can view this file actually, right? So this file contains different OIC logs. And here, as I was mentioning yesterday, that the agent keeps polling your OIC. So here you can see the runtime poller, right? So here you see runtime poller and the frequency is very less. You can see 580, 562, 390, 48. So the polling is in milliseconds. If any issues come, you have to come into this log directory and then open this diagnostic log file and you can find out your issues. Like if you find the 10 MB issue, this 10 MB will be here. Similarly, if you find any 240, a 240 error message will be logged here. And you can also see this in your integration cloud too. Now, let me just go back to my terminal. So here you see agent started successfully, now available for new message. I have installed the connectivity agent using this command. Now agent is running in your foreground. When I will close this window, terminal window, or if I do a control C, what will happen? The agent will be killed automatically. And here I will show you one more thing. When you will install connectivity agent, okay, the PID file will be created. And this PID file will have the associated PID of your connectivity agent, you can see. And the PID number is 32010. If you kill this 32010, your agent will come down. Let me just go back to the terminal now. So this is my terminal. If you want to stop your agent, what you do, you simply do a control C. Here you see shutting down. Now your agent is down. If you go back to your integration screen and refresh it, it will take a few seconds. Looks like someone is using this agent rest to install the connectivity agent in panel. Who is using that, please? Lakshmi, are you doing this exercise?
No, Ankur, I'm not.
Then who is doing this exercise actually?
Not sure, but I've not connected to system.
Oh, Sharma, Devanshu. Devanshu, are you doing this exercise in parallel? Hello? Devanshu, can you hear me? Okay, here you see the status is unavailable, which means your agent is stopped because you have pressed the Control C command. Now, if let me just go back to the terminal. If you want your agent to run in the background, and once your agent will run in the background, even if you do Control C and you kick off and you close this terminal, your agent will not come down. But for this, what you have to do, in order to run your installer in the foreground, what you have to do, you have to, just hold on, you have to do, hold on. Let me just open this configuration file. Okay. So let me just open this configuration file. If you want your agent to run in the background, you have to add two more property here. One is OIC underscore user and second is OIC underscore password. In this OIC user, you have to put the username of your OIC. And here you have to put the password in plain text, right? When you run your installer, right, after providing the username and then password, and once your installer will run successfully, the password will be encrypted automatically. User and password will be encrypted and no one will be able to pick up your password from here. So let me just stop sharing. Just hold on, please. Save anyway. I'll just put a password here and then we'll reshare my screen, okay? And then I will close this file as well. Okay. So let me just do it again. Okay. So here you see I have closed that file and now I want to run my installer in the background. So in order to run your installer in the background, there's a command called nohub. Nohub command is specific to the Linux system. So nohub java-jar and then connectivity agent.jar and then ampersand. So in order to run your installer in the background, you need to use the nohub command, which is specific to the Linux, and enter. And here you see appending output to nohub.out. Make a control C here. And if you do a lsltr, here you can see nohub.out file has been generated. Now open this file and do this. And here you see agent started successfully. Even if you do a control C, your agent will not come down. And now if you see this PID file, if you open this PID file here, you can see the file is 32071. So this is the PID now. Now let's go back here on the OIC screen and then again refresh this. Here you see your agent group is up. Okay. Now your agent group is up. Now, if you want to stop your agent, how you can do this? Go back to your terminal window. Now, if you want to down your agent, what you can do? First of all, you have to find out the PID. So you can find out the PID by making this command, psef grab java. And here you can see 320971. And also, if you want to find the PID, you can open the PID file. Let me just kill that PID, kill -9, and then 32071. 32071. Okay. And then hit enter. Now here you see killed. If you go back here, now if you just do this, the agent will come down. That big. So it will take few seconds to change the status here. Now here you see your agent is stopped. Now if I open this file again, installer file, this file, and here you can see your OIC user and then OIC password has been encrypted, which means no one can take the username password from your configuration file. Make sense? Any question on this? Anyone? I hope this agent installation is clear to everyone. Any question? Yes or no? Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, Ankur, I'm fine.
Yes,
Is this clear? The connectivity agent installation, how to install the connectivity agent? Again, all
Yes.
are silent. It's clear.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now this
Yes,
is how
This is in the Linux, right?
this is how you do the installation on Linux. Let's suppose you have the Windows. For
Windows,
Windows also, the Java space jar connectivity agent.jar will work. This is the same command to run on the Linux as well as on the Windows machine. But on your Windows, if you want to run your agent in background, so the command is start B and then this one. And here like this. So this is the command to run your agent in background on Windows machine. And similarly, the PID file also will be generated there. You can kill that PID or you can remove this PID file in order to kill that server. So this is how you can start and stop your agent server. Make sense?
yeah.
Now my agent is killed. Now let me just again start it. Okay. Tail. Initializing the credential store. Yeah, here you see my agent has been started successfully. So this is how you can install connectivity agent. You can start it, you can stop it, you define your installer profile.configuration file, and you install connectivity agent in the HA mode. The HA mode is very simple. You can take another physical machine. You can copy the installer on that physical machine, provide the OIC URL, the same URL and the same agent group identifier, install in the similar fashion, and the count will be increased from 1 to 2 automatically. Now, how to use this agent? So let's suppose you want to create a database connection. So what you can do, you can search the database adapter here and then select it. And here, let's say DB connection. I don't have a DB, but I will show you. And click on a create button. When you create a DB connection, you need to provide the host name, port, SID, or service name. And then on the security, you can provide the username, password here. And now, if your DB is on-prem, so you have to click on this configure agent and then select your agent and then use it, right? And once you provide all the necessary information and test it, your connection should be established successfully. So this agent group, you will not find in each and every adapter. So like, discard it. If you're trying to create a ERP adapter, for example, or the Salesforce adapter, you will not find this. So which means the Salesforce connection should be, the Salesforce should be on the public cloud. Here you don't see the agent. So agent group, you can refer to the specific adapter, not for all the adapters. Now, what I'm going to show you, the where I have installed this connectivity agent, guys.
In your local machine.
On my local machine. Now, what I want to read the file from my local machine, or I want to write the file on my local machine, or I want to pull the file from local machine. So here we have
Ankur,
another adapter.
One quick question, Ankur, here.
Please.
Suppose like a local adapter, like local agent is in AWS, like Azure, then I need to follow the same steps here?
Yes, correct. So the agent installation is similar for whether you are installing it in the AWS Linux machine, whether you are installing it on your local machine, whether you are installing on the local machine. You should have the JDK on it there. You can install it on any one of the Linux machine.
Okay. The basic compatibility is like JDK 8, like either I
Yeah.
can install the JDK 9 or anything, but the basic is JDK 8.
Absolutely, yes. Now we have another adapter called file. And yes, last time you have seen this FTP adapter also. What is the difference between file and FTP adapter? The similarity between FTP and file adapter, it provides all the operations like read, write, zip, not zip, sorry, read, write, list, and other operations. But the difference between FTP and then file is when you use the file adapter here. So let me just create a file adapter first of all, and let's say file connection. And this file adapter can be used for both roles, trigger as well as invoke. Click on a create button. Here, do you see any information you need to provide like host name, port, any encryption file, any decryption file, as you have seen in the FTP? Here, if I open this FTP connection, you need to provide lot of information. And here also you can provide agent group if your FTP is reachable behind the firewall. But when you create the file connection, you don't need to provide any information. What you need to provide, you only need to provide the agent group. So agent group is installed on my local machine. Now my local machine will be treated as a local file system. Wherever the agent is installed and associated with the agent group, this file connection will be able to process the file for my local system automatically. That is the one major difference. Like while you use the FTP connection, FTP adapter, you need to provide details. Means FTP adapter can be used to connect to FTPs which is accessible behind the firewall as well as the public facing FTPs. However, file adapter can only be used to connect to those file systems which are your local system or behind the firewall. The second difference is in the FTP connection. Let me test it. Here you see connection is tested successfully. Save. Here, when you create the FTP connection, you have an option to provide the PGPs, which means you can create the PGP encrypted file via the FTP connection. However, in the file, you cannot do that. The third difference is in the FTP connection. When you create the FTP connection, you cannot use FTP connection at the trigger point, which means trigger points means you cannot poll the files. However, the file connection can be used on the trigger side, which means the file connection can be used to poll the files from my local system. So these are the basic differences in FTP and then file. Now, let me just take a use case here. What I want to create one integration which will poll the files from my local machine and will put that on my FTP server as it is. Whatever file I have, it will take the files from my local machine and will put it on the FTP. For this, I am going to create an app-driven orchestration and then select. And here I will say poll files and then create. When you do this, you will be allowed to pick up the trigger connection. And what it will be? It will be the file connection. Here, what do you want to call your endpoint? I am saying the polling files. Here, you can provide which type of file you want to poll, whether CSV, XML, or the JSON. Or you can say, I don't have a structure. The file can be anything. It can be a PDF, it can be a document, it can be a image file, anything. So I'm just putting no and click next. Here you have to specify the input directory from where you want to pick up the file. So here I am saying this is my directory from where I want to pull the file. So this directory is there on my local machine. And here I am saying star. All the files, all the extension file, whether it's a TXT, CSV, PDF, I want to pull all the files. The rejection directory, if there's an issue in the file, if there's an issue in the file, you can move that file in the rejection directory by specifying the rejection directory here. But I don't have it. I'm just putting this as it is. Read file recursively. Read file recursively means is that you also want to read the file from the subfolder of poll. If you have subfolder under this poll, it can read the files from subfolders too. If you check this option, if you uncheck this option, only the files which is under poll will be polled. Maximum file. How many files will be polled in a single frequency? Polling frequency is 60 seconds, which means in every 60 seconds, your directory will be polled. And in every 60 seconds, maximum 25 files will be picked up. When it will start second frequency, it will pick next 25 files. And processing delays. Processing delays means how much delay is there between two files. Delete files after successfully reading. If you want to delete the file immediately after poll, you can use this option. Next, and then done. Now this adapter is configured successfully. Now what I want to keep putting all the files on my FTP. So for this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my FTP here. Okay, let's say put files. Next, here I'll say write files, and I will say binary file, and here I will give one directory called b1 underscore all. All the files will go under this b11 and then Paul. The file name pattern I will say star. Next, and I will say no, next, and then finish. Save. Now I need to map. When you open this mapper, here you see polling file request. Here, what will happen when this integration, polling integration will run? Every integration instance will get only single file. So if you have 25 files in a single polling frequency, there will be 25 instances will be created. Okay. So it will have a single file at a time. The file name and directory. File name you can put here. So whatever file name will come from my inbound, it will go as an outbound. And here element 0. If you open this element 0 node info, you will see this is a base 64 binary. In the ISIS file reference. So when you choose no from FTP, then you will see the file reference. And here, if you see this node info, it's a string type. So here what I have to do, I have to convert this into the file reference. So it's the encoded actually. If you see, it's the base 64. So first I have to decode the data and then pass as a reference. So for this, we have function called decode. There's a function called decode base 64. First, this function will decode the data and will convert into the reference. So decode base 64 to reference, put it here, and then provide this element here. So what will happen during runtime? This element 0 data will be decoded and it will be converted into the reference and will map to this file reference. Fine. And validate it and then close it. Now my integration is completed. Let me just run this integration and then put a file name here. Save. Save your integration and then close it. Now let me just do one thing. Let me just put up some files. Hold on. I know you are not able to view my screen, but that's fine. I have the poll directory where I am keeping few files. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put 4 files here. I will show you also. Allow me a minute, please. Okay. So here you see on the poll directory, I have kept 4 files, ASC extension, CSV, and 2 files as a PPT. Okay. Now let's go to your integration and let's try to activate it. So this integration will be activated. You cannot run this integration manually. So this integration will be fired automatically as per their frequency. Let's see what will happen. Polling files, let's keep refreshing it and let's see what will happen. In meanwhile, let me just open my FileZilla also. Desktop. Here you see 4 instances because there were 4 files. Now, if I open this receive, we'll go into the tracking and we'll show you the DS store, the PGB private, and then 2 PPTs. Okay, let's open the FTP server, and I kept in this B11 directory, and then Pol. Here you see Pol file has been created now, directory, and it should have all the 4 files you can see. Now, what is that DS store? Okay, looks like some what is that DS store? There were 4 files actually, and I don't know what is the DS store file it is. Okay, I don't know what type of file it is, but that's fine. But here you see 4 instances has been created. Now oh, okay, you are not able to see the screen. I hope you can see the screen now.
Yes, Ankur.
So here you see 4 instances has been created. The asc.txt DS store, there is some hidden file which has been picked up, and 2 PPTs. And file also has been deleted from my Pol directory. I will show you. File has been deleted from here. Let me just keep one more file here. Let's say this file, okay? In the next polling frequency, this file should be picked up and it should transfer on the FTP. You see the 5. Employee 5.csv, and it should be here also. Refresh it. You see the employee 5.csv, and all data should be there. I hope that makes sense to everyone.
Yeah, hi Ankur. I have one doubt. Can I
Please.
ask?
Deepak, you have to be a bit louder, yeah, please.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm asking, suppose that during polling, we have some file with 0 bytes. And during polling, I just don't want to transfer that 0 bytes file. And during polling, I just don't want to transfer it. Means I just want to put some kind of validations.
Got it.
So how we can do this?
Okay. So for this, you cannot do without basically what do you say? So here, when you poll the file, right, you have taken the 2 options there. There was 2 options, yes and then no. Yes means a structured, and no is a non-structured file. Okay. For the non-structured file, you cannot do this validation. But for the structured file,
structure file.
I will show you how to. So in this polling file, we have seen the unstructured file. Let's create another use case here, which will pick up the structured file, and maybe your question will be answered, right, Deepak? Yes. So, Dheeraj, sorry. Guys, if you have any question, let me know before I start another integration here.
And Ankur, there is one more use cases, like we have text file, and in text file there is some header and tailor and data. And tailor side we have row count of the data. So means if data count of the data row count is and header tailor row count should be same, then only should be integrated. Otherwise it should be fail. Like this is the real use case scenario.
Can you repeat
So
that?
if you put,
Can you repeat?
suppose that there is one text file,
Ah.
and that text file have header, one header in the same text file, and data, then trailer, and trailer have some row count.
Ah.
Okay, and data even suppose there is 5 line of 5 line containing that file, and row count has 5. It should be same in any case. If there is some mismatch, it should be throw error. So this is the real
Okay.
kind of scenario I'm facing. So how
Okay.
we can achieve this? Ankur, you can put
So,
some light on.
so such type of use cases, right, where you are saying you will have the number of rows as well as the count at the end of this file, right?
Yes.
I have to check that. Yeah, I have never worked upon such type of use cases, because when you try to read the file, okay, it should have, let's suppose you have 5 columns in a file, okay, then it should have uh, okay, let me
Actually,
just think over
let
it
me
and I
tell
will
you
let
the
you know.
use case.
I got
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Let
Let
me
me
just
tell,
think over it.
tell me the use cases as well. So actually, there is some feed we are from getting from Fusion instance. Okay, and then during the uploading then database, we need to validate that. Means if the row count that within a file, it should be data and record should be same. Then only we should upload in the DB.
Got
So
it.
I'm struggling on that.
What
Struggling
you
on
do,
that
one
part.
thing, you just send me a WhatsApp. I will look at that if it is
Sure,
possible.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank
So now my another use case is, what I'm going to do, I am going to pull the CSV kind of file from my file server and will load this on the FTP server. So for this, what I'm going to do, I am saying read files, okay, from local, and create a integration here. What happened? Hold on. Okay, so here I am saying file connection, and let's say all files. And here I wanted to read the CSV kind of file. Click next. And here I will see, I will give the directory like this, Paul, and I want it to read only CSV kind of file. Here I can give the rejection directory to, let's say, reject directory, if the file is not in the correct format. Okay. And I'm saying I don't want to delete the file. I wanted to archive the file once my integration is completed. Okay. Next, I will choose the sample file from here. Oh, sorry. Okay. So I wanted to read such kind of file. So here, let's say employee, and then employees. So what I am going to do, I am going to all field as an optional instead of email ID. Okay. And let's say next. And then done. Save your integration and let's say horizontal. Now what I want to first check all my records. So for this, what I'm going to do, I am going to, instead of sending all the record as it is on my FTP, I want to process record by record. So for this, we have one element action called for each. Just put this for each loop here. The for each is an action which will allow you to iterate on your repeating elements. And now tell me, which element do you think is a repeated?
Employee.
Huh?
Employee.
Employee. And how you can identify this as an employee is a repeated element.
There is number of record in that file.
Here, no. Here you
Double
see
pair.
there are two
Yeah.
bars actually, double bar. So drag and drop, and I'll say loop over files, and here you can say current record. Okay, and then create. Now this is my block. Now what I want to first validate the record. So in order to do a branching, I have another action called a switch. So when you put a switch here, you will see there will be two branches will be created. One is a undefined and the second is otherwise. In if branch, so I can put a condition here. Let's say edit, and here this employee will have the current record. So I am saying if first name not equals to blank, then only process my record, validate, and then close. Otherwise, don't process my record in the FTP. So now what I am going to do, I am going to put a FTP adapter here. Okay. And we'll say write record. Right. Next, and I will say write file as key, and I will put on the same directory B11, and pattern can be, let's say, anything. So file name I will put in the mapper. Next, and I will keep the file in the same format as a CSV file. Next, and here I will say the same file. Okay, sample file, and here I will say again employee. Employee, and then again employees, or you can say user and users. Fine. And here also I will choose this append to existing file, so that all the record can go in a single file. Next, user, and then users. Next, and then finish. Fine. Save. And here I wanted to say this one, and the outbound FTP header type, you see inbound. So this is coming from polling. Here I will say file name to file name. And then this I will map from current record only. First name, last name, age, qualification, and then email. Validate, and then log. Right? In the otherwise condition, I wanted to keep the failed reports. Okay. I will put on the stage file for the time being. Or you can, okay, let me just put it on the stage file. So I will write a sample file, on stage. I'll say write file. I'll say file name will be error.csv, and then save it. So this will have all the records which got failed. And here I will say output directory /tmp. Exit expression builder, and I will say append to existing file. Next, and I will say CSV file, and here what I am going to do, I am going to create a sample file here, new, And here I'll say, I hope you can see my notepad plus notepad, file name, reason. Okay. File dot csv, something like this, and not found. Okay. And I will save this file. And that's it, errors.csv. Okay. And now go back here and I will upload this errors.csv file here. Fine. And that's it, error and errors. Next, and then finish. In this, what I'm going to do, errors, file name, okay, and reason I will do a hardcode. And I will say first name is blank. Validate and then close it. So what will happen here, I'm just looping over the, I'm just pulling the CSV file, the structured file, looping over the records, okay, and then checking if first name is found or not. If it is found, I am writing the file on the FTP and keep appending the record in the same file. If first name is blank, then the otherwise condition will be executed and it will create a file on the stage, right? It will create a file on the stage and it will create a file on the stage and will keep appending all the records which is having the blank value. So here the file name, I can say error.csv. Okay, fine. And now after this loop, I want to keep this error file on my local file system. So for this, what I will do, I will use which adapter? FTP or file?
File.
File. So I'll say file connection here. Let's say put error file. Next, I'll say write file. I'll say on this directory, actually, let me just take a directory. Just hold on, please. Okay, fine. Let's say error files. Okay, error files and the file name, let's say star. I'll say append to existing file. Next, no, next, and then finish. Save. And here you see where, oh no, not this one. So sorry. Before I keep the file on my file server, I have to read that staging file, right? So for this, I have to use this stage file action here. I'll say read, hold on. Let me see from where I have kept the file actually. Sorry, what is the file name? The error.csv, right? So I'll say stage and I will say read error file. Next, I will say read entire file, configure file reference. No, because this configure file reference will be there only inside the loop, but I am trying to read the file after the stage. So I have to give the file name here. Errors.csv, right? Save. And here I will say temp directory. Exit expression builder. Next. So in the staging file, either you have to use the CSV file, which you wanted to read. So I'll say CSV file I wanted to read. And I have to provide the same structure, error.csv, open, and here error record, error records. Fine. Next, right? So I have to change this little bit. I have to provide the same structure actually. Yes, CSV file. Next, and then let me see one thing. I have used the append one or not? Yes, append. And here, read error file response, error records, error records to error, file name, and then reason. Validate, and then close. Fine. After this, the file will be polled. I want to archive the file. Okay. So here I will use this file adapter again and will say archive file. Move file. Okay. You have to give the input directory here. Input directory will be Paul. File name, I will take it from the mapper only. Let's say ABC. Target directory will be, let's say, archive. Target file will also be the same. Next, finish. Okay, so here, move file move request, the file name, the source directory, the target file will remain the same. Validate and then close it. Now my integration is completed. Let me just enable the tracking here. And here you can say file. Save your integration and then close it. Before I run this integration, let me just keep few files on my polling directory. Okay. Okay, it's nothing here. Before I do this, I have to stop this integration, right? Otherwise, it will also be started. So let me just keep one file here. Just scroll down. Fine. Guys, do you see my screen? Sorry. Do you see this Notepad++ by any chance?
Yes.
Okay. So here I have this file and let me say VB, and first name I am putting a blank here. Okay. IT email at yahoo.com. Okay, let's say fail.com. So I have this file and the file name is sample file copy.csv. Okay, here I have two records, abitmail@gmail.com, and the second record is invalid and the third record should be a valid one. So here I'll say A11. Let's say A1 here, A2 is blank, and then let's say A3. Fine. Let's say this is A3, and let's say this is A1. So this is the first file. Let me just open another file. I hope you can see that file too. Okay, so here in this another file, I have more record. Let's say A1, 11, A12, A13, and then I am just removing this record. Okay. Now I have another file which is sampled this one. And let me just do one thing. Let me just corrupt that file. So this is the corrupted file. So how many files I have as of now? Total 3 files. Here how many files I have? 3 files. This file is having 3 records. One is corrupted one. This file is having 3 how many records? 4 records, and one is the corrupted one. And the third file is itself corrupted. So let's try to run this integration and let's see what will happen. So before I do this, let me just see one thing. Okay. Let's try to activate this integration and we'll see what will happen. Why this polling is keep running? I have stopped it one, right? Oh shit. Instead of activating this integration, I have activated this one. No problem. Let me just deactivate it. It should be transferred here only. Yep. These 3 files. So let me just keep the files here. Okay, guys, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
I'm keep changing the windows actually. And I hope we are using the same directory now. All one, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And the CSV file only, right? Start.csv. Oh, both are errored out actually. Let me see. What is the error? Fault location, iteration. It got failed here. Error processing message in state read file actually. To be processed was not found. Why so? Switch. Okay, first name fine. Iteration 1 close, and in the second iteration it should data mapping completed. Oh, here I also have the first name A12. Which file is this? Okay, fine. Close. Maybe I have 4 iteration for that third iteration and fourth iteration, right? Yeah, here I don't have the first name. So it has entered to this otherwise payload sent to this one, and file name is sample file, payload received tmp error.csv. Okay, the problem is it's the error.csv, whereas I have given the file name is errors.csv. My bad. And if I go here, the file is there as it is, but it should be there. Here you see the rejected file. So this file has been moved here. Do you see the 2.csv because it was the rejected. Now let me just correct my integration. Also, okay, fine. Let me, okay. So it failed there, deactivate. Guys, do you know where's the error now? What should I correct? Who can tell me which one should I correct?
Put error file, I think where you passing the directory name. That directory name.
This
or
one,
not
not
file
directly.
name where you,
So here you
file
see
name.
write file on stage. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Here the file name is error.csv,
Yes.
but direct is tmp only, right? But while I am reading the file, I have given errors.csv. That's the problem, right? But the directory I have given the same. So I can change it here. Okay. Now go here. And both the integration you can see in the errors. No, actually both has been aborted. Why the file has not been picked up? Let's wait 3 minutes. File should be picked up. Let me just try to do one thing. Let me just change the file name. Sometimes it creates a problem. Or let me just try to deactivate the integration. Let's see.
Yes, now need to deactivate it then activate it because you change the integration. So
Huh?
I face this kind of issue. I face this kind of issue. Means once you update the integration, then you need to deactivate it, then activate it, then it work. I was
Hmm.
thinking on this.
Hmm. There might be some bug actually.
What?
No. Oh yeah. You see. Oh, again add out. Let me see what is the issue. Error. Error while translating message to the mentioned format. Please make sure that file content confirms the schema. Okay. Let me see. Payload received. Payload sent. File name is fine. First name is also there. Why it is there? Error while translating the message to the mentioned format. Error while read error file. What is the problem? Here also the same error.
It's a
Okay. Otherwise, okay, got it. Now, the issue here is actually, I will tell you what is the issue. Now, in both the files, actually, right? In both the files, right? Only single record is having the issue, right? And now, if I open this integration, okay, I am writing the file without header. But when I am reading the file, I am saying the first record should consider as a column header. The first row is skipped and then there is no record. Hence, there is an error. So I'll say this one, next, and then done, which means the first record will be treated as a row as well. Now, I need to remove this mapping. Here you will see C1 and C2. Now let me just delete this. And then C1 file name, C2 user. So it's good that you are getting to know the different scenarios of the failure reason so that we can fix that as well. Now let me again try to change the file name, something like this. Let me just try to deactivate and reactivate also. Sometimes it creates a problem. Let me deactivate and then deactivate it also, and we'll see what will happen that time. Three minutes ago, 4 minutes. Oh, again. It's creating a problem. Let me just try to deactivate it again and then activate. Mhm.
Good. Do we need to do anything in the tracking? Maybe you can see there. There is like one
Where?
organization right, in the tracking side.
No.
No.
It should be picked up immediately. Yes. I don't know what is the bug here. I have seen this issue earlier also. Maybe let me just navigate from here and there and see. Yeah. Maybe here you see, this time the file triple 4 times 1, 4 times 2 CSV has been created. Now let me just open this. The file has been moved from here because I did that, and you see the error files. Oh, star. Let me just open that file. What is that? Yeah. Do you see the sample file underscore 4 times 2.csv? First name is blank, and also in that second file, first name is blank. And if I go here to the archive file, both the files has been moved here too. And let me just open this FTP server. If I refresh, here you see 4 times 1.csv and 4 times 2 CSV has also been created here with only the valid records. Let me just open that. It should have only, I guess, 2 records. It is having 3 records, A11, A12, A13. Okay, and this should have how many records? It is also having the same. Oh, sorry. Here you see, here we have only 2 records. Let me just explain this use case again. What I have done here is, here in this complete integration, first I am pulling the files from my local directory, and the file is CSV. Okay. And then I am looping over the records one by one by the for each loop. And then here I am using the switch to check the condition that if first name is not equals to blank, then only write the records on my FTP and then keep appending in the same file. Otherwise, I am creating a error record file on my staging area, wherein I have only 2 fields. The file name which got failed means the error of the file got failed, and the reason. After completing this for loop, I am reading the error file from my staging and then putting onto my file location, means the local file. And then after the integration, before the integration will be completed, I am moving the file from my poll directly to the archive file so that the file cannot pick again. Make sense, guys? Any question? This is one of the the real-time use cases which I have explained here. If you have any question, you can ask, please.
Yeah, Ankur, I have one question. Can you open the integration, please, again?
Yeah.
In this integration, we are passing the error file name twice. First in a write file on stage and a read file on error, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
is it not possible to pass the file name in an global variable and that variable will
Yes,
use in
you can do
entire.
that. Yes, you can. You can create one variable here and then use that variable here in this mapper while you're writing the file. Means here. Maybe
It's a normal variable or it's a global variable. Means
you
can you
can
just
create,
put
no,
some light on?
you don't require a global variable here. Not here. Basically, you have to map that variable on this expression actually. From here, when you click plus now, you can map the variable here and the same variable while writing the file. So why you need a global variable? You can create a simple variable here.
So no, just for understanding purpose, I want to understand what will the scope for the local variable and global variable in this scenario or some other scenario.
So global
So that's
variable is basically used when you want to store the object types and you want to keep appending the objects type data into different scope. And global variable you cannot directly use, you have to use the data stitch for this.
it will go if you can show some say use
Huh?
cases, because it's not very much clear to me. Means I'm
What I
stuck
will
on
do
the
now, I
what you
have
said.
one blog or I will explain this in another session too. How to use this global variable and how to use assign variable I have shown in the last class. It's very simple. You
Yeah.
simply use the assign activity, assign the.
Assign, I'm
So
clear.
basically, assign is basically used to store primitive data types like the string, integer, boolean. However, this global variable can be used to store any type of data like string, boolean, integer object type. Like you have one object like the employee wherein you have the first name, last name, and you can store such kind of object into your global variables. I will show you that one.
Okay. And apart from that, my second query is that I ask you regarding that the size of the file. Suppose that there is a
Okay.
one file on
Yeah.
0 KB.
So let me just deactivate this integration and we'll see if I can get the file size in the mapper somehow. Oh, sorry, before I deactivate it, activate. So let me just open that and let's see when you dequeued. No, I don't think so. You will have the content. You cannot see because you don't see. You see only the file name and then directory and then data. But
So
what
is
you
it
can do now,
possible to
what you can do when you will poll the file, you can use the switch activity and you can count the number of records. If there is no record, you can send a notification or whatever action you want to take. As simple as that. So in the last
count?
class, yesterday I have shown you the count function, how to work on the count function. Similarly, you can make a count function on this employee's record. If it gives 0, which means there is no content. You were there yesterday?
No, I was traveling though, so I'm not able to attend the class.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I will go through that video.
Yeah,
But
yesterday I have.
Is it possible? Like I saw some use cases like they have created some shell script. I'm not very much clear end to end, so that's why I try to collect more information on that. Means they have created one shell script, and shell script they call that in integration. That shell script, what we're doing, checking the size of the file. If it
Shell
is 0
script.
KB,
No,
then it's
you cannot
yeah.
create shell scripts here.
No, they are creating services just calling in the integration. They have created separately, just calling in that integration.
Shell scripts you cannot call from the integration also.
Okay.
I have never seen such kind of things. But yes, libraries you can create for sure. The JavaScript library.
I know this. I will get some more information on that because they are doing in the same way. Like they are using some shell script.
Yeah,
That
please
I'm
provide
aware.
me some
How they are using.
information. Please provide me some information, then I will check that.
Yeah, I will get more information. Okay. Anyway, I will go through the yesterday video.
Sure. Guys, any question or any other question on this?
Yeah.
What is the difference between file and FTP editor? I mean, from the pros and cons perspective, because the same operation we can have from FTP editor as well.
So
Apart from that public
yeah,
and
so I have already explained FTP connection can be used if your FTP is reachable over the internet. Right? If it is behind the firewall, you can use the file connection, you can install the connectivity agent. Okay, one more thing. Let's suppose you have two FTP connection. You have two FTP server and both are behind the firewall and you want to access it via the agent. So what you can do, and I can consider both the FTP are in the same network for the time being. And without agent, you cannot use that FTP server. What you can do, you can have one physical box where you will install the agent. And this agent can connect to the FTP servers, both the FTP servers. So what you can do, you can create two separate FTP connection and then in the FTP connection, provide the host name of your FTP which you want to connect and provide the agent group reference. Similarly, if you want to use another FTP server, so again, create another FTP connection and then provide the details there and use the same agent group, which means a single agent group can be used to connect to two FTPs at the same time. But if you use the file server to connect to that FTP, then the agent should be installed on the same FTP server. Then only you can use the file server. So the prerequisite for the file connection is the agent should be installed on the same server which you want to connect via the file connection. But for the FTP, you can install agent on any one of the host machine, but for that, agent should reach to your FTP. This is first scenario. Second, if you want to poll the files, then you cannot use the FTP, then you have to use anyways file connection. Make sense? Is it clear or not?
yeah, yes, I'm good.
Oh.
Thank you.
Lida, you were asking something too? The same question? Any other question, anyone?
Yeah, I have one question, Ankur. Can you open the integration, the one which we created?
Yes.
Yep. In the otherwise condition, like we are writing a file and next we are reading a file, right?
Mm.
Instead of like reading a file, can we move directly the file from staging to our local? Is this possible?
No, not possible. Because if you are writing the file on the stage, in order to read that, you have to use stage file action anyhow. You cannot directly use the FTP server or the file server to read from the file, from the stage. No, it's not possible.
Okay, it means like the reading a file is like mandatory there.
Yes, correct.
Okay, got it.
Because the reference of this stage and then file is totally different. Both are in different, different spaces. Or different server, I can say. This state is your OIC. This local is your local server.
Okay.
Okay. Now I want to explain the another integration pattern which is called your schedule. Schedule I have explained. It is used to create the schedule integration. So let's try to create a schedule integration. Use this schedule orchestration pattern and then select. When you select it, you can give any name. Let's say read large files here. Okay, and then say create. When you create a schedule orchestration, you will see the trigger point will be the schedule. Always. You cannot change this schedule trigger. Right? Now, one scenario which I wanted to show you, how to read the large files from your FTP server. Means the file which is more than 10 MB. How to read that in the schedule integration. So I have one file which I have kept here, and the file name is big file. Okay, if I open this file, just open that. Sometimes it takes time. So this is having almost 7 lakh records actually. This is having more and more records. Do you see? And if you see the total number of records I have is 6 lakh. Do you see the count? 6,96,961. So now let me just create a sample file from that. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, if you see the information of this file, it will be more than 10 MB. Do you see? It's 18.5 MB, right? So let me just transfer this file here. The file name is big file. Let me just transfer this file here. Okay, and let this file to be transferred. Okay, it will be transferred, but that's fine. So let me just try to put a FTP adapter here and try to read the file. Read file. Next, I am saying I want to read a file, and the directory, let's say ASCII, let's say B11, and let's say the file name is bigfile.csv. The file has been transferred successfully. The file name is big CSV. Next, and here do you see the warning? The maximum allowed size for file is 10 MB. If you need to read the larger file than 10 MB, please use download operation. So let's try to use this and see what will happen. Let me just big file. Where the sample file is. Where I have kept this file, save as. Oh, maybe training. This one. Okay, let's say user and then users. Next, and then done. Save it. Let me just enable the tracking here and let's, okay. So when you create the schedule integration, the primary identifier for the schedule integration will always be the start time, which will have the start time of the integration run. Okay, save it and then close it. Let's try to activate this integration and then activate. So when you will try to activate the schedule integration, you will see two buttons, activate and schedule. I will let you know later what is the difference between activate and schedule. Now my integration has been activated. Now in order to test the schedule integration, What you can do, you simply click on this run and then submit now. Once you click on a submit now, your integration will be kicked off. Submit now, and it will provide submit now, and it will provide the instance ID. Click on it, you will be redirected here. Let's say refresh. Waiting, let me just move from here and there. Why it's again waiting state? In progress. Do you think that integration will work, guys?
No, it failed.
No, it's failed. Let's see the error. Error here. And you can see the error simply say, please make sure that the payload for the outbound interaction conforms to the schema and payload size does not exceed the threshold. Error file as the file size exceeds maximum threshold size of 10 MB, which means you cannot read the file from FTP, which is more than 10 MB. So how to fix that issue? How to work? How to read the large files? So you cannot read the large file directly. First, you have to use the download file operation. Download file. If you want to read the file which is more than 10 MB, then you have to always use the download file operation first of all. Okay, let's say big file, and then I am saying it's on the temp directory. Next, and then done. When now where my file is, anyone? This is a question. Where my file is now, when this activity will be executed, where the file will be? The temp directory.
Invoice.
Temp directory of what?
Unix server.
OIC integration.
OIC
template.
server. So I should use stage file to read this file, right? Now use this stage file. Now here I will say read file from stage. Next, here I have two options, read entire file and read file in segments. Read entire file is having the same limitation. It cannot read file which is more than 10 MB at a time. So in order to read the file into the chunks, you have to use read file in segment. So if you use this read file, so the file which will be downloaded on the stage, it is of more than 10 MB. If I will use this read file, read entire file, then also this operation will get failed. So I should use this read file in segments. Click yes and say edit. Sorry. Yes, and then I have to specify the file reference, which is on my staging. The file reference, download file to ICS, expand this. Sorry, this is a request now. This should be the response actually. Response. File reference. That's it. Next, and here I will use the CSV structure and then sample big file and then open. User and say employee and then employees. Next, and then done. Here you see segment size is 200. So there might be a question in interview when you use stage file read in segments. So how many records will be read at a time? So you can say 200 records. So when you click on a finish button, you will see a block here. So whatever operation you want to perform on 200 records, you can do inside here. So this 200 records, you will not get up outside this block. Here you will not get that. Whatever operation you want to perform, you have to perform inside it. So I am using another FTP adapter to write the files. Okay, let's say write files. Next, and also the write file. If you want to write the file more than 10 MB, you cannot do that at the same time. You have to use the append to existing file if you want to append the data into the same file. Else, let's say employee, I wanted to create a file in sequence. And sorry. And it will be in my directory, let's say this one, and let's say chunk. Right. Next, I will keep the same CSV file. Employee. Yeah. So the different files will be created of 200 records. Okay. Open this mapper. Employees. And now tell me which node should I expand here to map the data.
I think which has a stage file.
Huh? This one?
The stage file which we have it.
This one?
Yep, I think so.
Yes, sir. Read file
Huh?
from a stage.
Guys, we have done a lot of use cases to map the data here and there. Now you should be confident which source, which should I expand to map the data? From where we are trying to read the data?
From stage.
Huh? From here, right?
Yeah, from stage we are trying to map it.
Correct. And then employees to employee, first name, save, and let's close it. Let's try to run this integrator and see what will happen. Okay, let's execute this integration. Submit now. Let's go back. In progress. Integration is in progress. Let's go here and let's refresh it. You see, chunk directory has been created and the file should be created here. The file will keep creating and each and every file will have the 200 records. Let me just open any one of the file. Do you see that? It will have 200 records actually. Each and every file you can open and view, there will be 200 records. can we see one thing here? Okay, I'm not able to see the number of rows, but yes, it will be 200 records. Why it is repeating? Because in the file, the source file also I have the same data. Now just keep refreshing it. You will see more files.
Can we modify Ankur with the number of records? Means as of now it's at 200 only. So can we increase or decrease this count?
Ideally,
At
we should
integration
not
level?
do this, but we can do it indirectly. We can export this integration, okay, and then there we can do. Or let me see one thing. If I open this here, okay, I cannot do it from here, but yes, I can export this integration. I can open the accessibility of this activity and then change it. But it's not a recommended approach actually. And now you can see the integration is keep running, and it will keep running till the time all the files gets created. Guys, that makes sense to everyone? Any question? Guys, any question? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, Ankur.
Yeah, it's clear.
Cool. Okay, so now I hope we are done. In the next session, I will show you how to schedule this integration actually, and what are the different scheduled frequency are there which you can use it to schedule your integration. Guys, if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, I will wrap up the session for the day, and I will keep that big file in the same folder. You can take it for your practice and the recording as well. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Any question?
Thank you, Ankur.
Sorry, Ankur, just last question. Is it inbuilt functionality that when you mentioned the 200
Yes.
records?
Yes, it's an inbuilt file. So when you use this read file in segments, by default, it processes 200 records at a time.
Oh.
I showcase now here. If you open this and you use this read file in segments and you see the last page, okay, the summary one. You see segment size 200. This is the number of rows.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, then thank you. We will meet next, most probably Sunday, but I will update you.